with players in the NBA now missing entire seasons, some missing multiple seasons, aka Lonzo Ball. It begs the question of why are players missing so much basketball now with the huge advances in the medical system, with the huge advances on the team department, with the huge advances of skills in the game where people don't even have to take as much contact as they would in the past to be as effective with the rise of the three-point line. Why are players being injured so much more than they did in the past? And me and a lot of other people are coming to the conclusion of AAU basketball. Now, being a college student, if you had to do any research papers, especially in the sports world, there is a common theme that will come up, and it will be circled around AAU basketball because there's a lot of evidence supporting that AAU basketball is not only ruining the NBA, but ruining the lives of athletes everywhere. Because even if you look back, like Michael Jordan's time frame, he was not a single sport athlete. Look, a lot of other athletes from the 90s, from the 80s, from the early 2000s even, you'll see that they were multi-sport athletes. They were great at multiple sports. LeBron James, another example. He was elite at multiple sports. I mean, he's 6'8", 250. But now, when you look at the huge rise at AAU scene, you got people like Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball, who both are elite at basketball, who both have been playing basketball for many years. Shoot, we saw LaMelo Ball at the age of 11, 12, 13 and up, carrying AAU teams with the help of his brothers, being on the scene and viral at such a young age because of how dedicated they were to the craft. And he's not the only one. Trae Young, we've been hearing about him a long time. Andrew Wiggins, we was hearing about him a long time. Zach LaVine, you heard about him a long time. A lot of people have been in these AAU circuits to the point where they were expected to be in the league because of the highlight reels that they were at a young age. Which brings me to AAU basketball. So ESPN themselves in 2019 wrote an article called "These Kids Are Ticking Time Bombs: The Threat of Youth Basketball." And I'm not the biggest fan of ESPN and their articles, but this is a piece of evidence written by Baxter Holmes, an ESPN senior writer, again in July 11, 2019, breaking down how AAU basketball will have a huge explosion in the lives of the athletes that took part in it. From the article, he noted there were players evaluated who moved so poorly that he says he absolutely expected them to suffer injury. In every instance, DeFrancesco thought at the time that he have enough before the player's first NBA game to potentially repair the issues that he had noticed. He calculates potential weight room hours and hoped they were enough to build a tolerance to prevent an injury. But an expert would find later that Randall has suffered a stress reaction, a precursor to a stress fracture, but without the break. Essentially saying that you play basketball enough, it will undoubtedly lead your body to break down sooner. Right? And you see that a lot with NBA players. It was kind of a shift to where players in their late 30s, you would see them breaking down. So now you'll see them breaking down by the time they're 28. You'll see a player like Anthony Davis who's breaking down nonstop. You'll see a player like Lonzo Ball who's breaking down around the age of 26. And it begs the question, how long before we see other players break down? Like a Zion Williamson. And I hate to say it, like a LaMelo Ball. He's already been injured. But is this going to be something that we see for years to come because of all the years of basketball that we've seen from them? In fact, in the same article, if you go before the quotes I was saying, there was no clear culprit to why Julius Randle's leg snapped, right? So that's what we're talking about. Julius Randle's leg snapped, and their findings were that because of all the hours, all the stress given on his legs from AAU basketball, from the years of basketball, that the stress broke his leg. But another article that we do have to support, Youth Basketball's Injury Crisis. This article is on medium.com. Not familiar with the website, but essentially is another article breaking down how even the rivalries from AAU with players like a Zion Williamson, like a RJ Barrett, would have serious impacts on their play in the NBA. Quote, that after just one half of basketball, which featured some explosive dunks from Zion Williamson and inefficient shooting from Barrett, Williamson was injured and ruled out for the rest of the summer league. After the game, Mike Krzyzewski, Zion's coach at Duke, said, "I don't think he's playing I don't think he's in the shape or in the mental shape to play the game." Even adding that he believed that Zion should have skipped the summer, which shocked a lot of people. But this is mainly because Zion's been playing youth basketball. He started playing at 5 years old. which included playing against players twice his age, playing high school ball, playing AAU circuit during the summers, including 5 to 6 tournaments on weekends and high-intensity practices during the week. And even when he got to Duke, he was dealing with the intensity of carrying a D1 program, but also to deal with the pressure of being the most heavily covered player in basketball. Because of this, before he even got to the NBA, Zion had so much stress on his body that it was only a matter of time before it broke down. And even has us questioning now, how healthy will Zion be, right? We love Zion. We love the thought of Zion. But how healthy will he be? Because you see a trend here of players in the NBA getting injured. Because even if we go to this season, it is March 26th right now. I'm going to refresh the page of the NBA injury report. We have DeAndre Hunter on the Hawks day-to-day. We have Jason Tatum day-to-day. Danilo Gallinari out. Peyton Pritchard out. Seth Curry out. Ben Simmons on the Nets out. Chicago Bulls, Javonte Green, Alex Caruso, and Lonzo Ball are either out or day-to-day. We keep going. We got the Mavs. Tim Hardaway Jr. is day-to-day. You go to the Pistons. Bojan Bogdanovic is out. It's out because of his Achilles. Alec Burks is out. Cade Cunningham is out. Oh, Isaiah Stewart is out. And Humidou Diallo is out. On the Warriors, Iguodala is out. He had to have his surgery on his left wrist. No one cares about Ty Jerome. Andrew Wiggins is out. Luckily, that's for personal reasons. But as you can see, we can keep going on the list. Miles Turner is day-to-day. Paul George is out. Even with OKC, their number 1 pick in the draft was Chet, and he's out. Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen is out for the Jazz, and Rudy Gay, and Jordan Clarkson. Those are 4 crucial players on them. So I don't need to keep going from each team. Damn, Bradley Beal and Kuzma out too? I didn't even know they were out. Like, this list is so long, I can't even screenshot it for the video. I mean, that's how long the list of injured players are. So you do look at players like Lonzo Ball, we find out will miss this whole season and majority of next season, if not the whole next season, due to his injuries. It begs the question, why are players getting injured so recently? And Lonzo Ball is the player that sparked this interest for me. Why is a player that we seen growing up? We seen him at Chino Hills. We seen him at UCLA. We seen him being a huge threat. He comes to the NBA, he's having these injury issues, right? He's not as aggressive as he used to be. He had to change his whole jump shot. He had to become a whole different player than the player he was. And now he's getting played with injury right when we see him make a come up. And it has a fan like me very disappointed, because I am in a camp, if he is healthy and Alex Caruso is healthy, that Bulls team would be a dynamic team. Because then you have 2 point of attack elite defenders with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan on the roster, with a young talent in Patrick Williams, with Big Vooch. And you look at that, you could fool yourself to believe that, hey, they could be any team on any given night. And unfortunately, it hasn't played out that way, but they are a good team. So, they have some quality pieces on that team, I should say. But if you do disagree, leave a comment down below. Do you blame AAU basketball? You think it really just comes down to the players as being unlucky? Because you could argue that, but there's been so many injuries. How can we really say that? If you miss some of these players, if you miss Lonzo Ball or New Orleans Pelicans, Zion Williamson, leave a comment down below. I feel for y'all, right? I feel for the Bulls fans, and I do feel for the Pelicans fans. Shoot, honestly, I feel for the Spurs fans, because the dynasty team that you had and the culture you had really ended because of Zaza Pachulia. That's all I have for you guys today, though. Hey, goodbye.